Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk. This is Roger Chen from University of San Francisco. In this video program, we interview business leaders, entrepreneurs, and leading experts from San Francisco, Silicon Valley, Asia, and beyond. This program is sponsored by University of San Francisco Center for Business Studies and Innovation in Asia Pacific. Maybe, for a lot of people, they are very interested in your wisdom on, let's say, the product market fit, because you know a lot, and also about a human part of it.
Sure. Look, I think whenever you start, there are two things which are the least negotiable in some ways. It gives you an anchor to what you're doing, gives you a sense of purpose. Without that anchor, it can be, you can sway in very random ways, because the world is large, the market is large, the people have lots of different thoughts. So one is which market or what problem am I going after? Some sort of vision around, this is the problem I want to solve. So for example, it looks like, when HyperTrack started, I said, all these logistics developers, there's a lot of them. It's a growing number who are dealing with on-demand economy happening, gig work happening, and they need certain technologies that only a few companies in the world have, and maybe that technology can be democratized. But it looks like the future of commerce is going to be this way, and a lot of developers will need this technology to build that. And so that's one, right? So having some sort of, that's not your product, that's just a certain outlook. That's also not a market, right? I mean, it's not just one industry vertical or one geographical region or one.
Are you mainly talking about the trend, the future trend?
Yeah, you can. It's a point of view which that Peter Thiel in his book writes. What is that one secret that you hold to be true that most people will disagree with you on? It's sort of a contrarian opinion, or it's something that you see that you feel like not many people are seeing, that the world will be this way. Like if someone says, I'll give you another example, that I think this whole taxi cab industry is broken. You need an app through which you can solve mobility from going from point A to point B, right? Something like that. Like Uber is that. Or someone says, look, I think Gen Z doesn't want to get full-time jobs or job security. They care about flexibility and leveraging their skill, and they want to live life on their own terms. So it's all going to be flexible work in every industry. It's sort of a point of view. The other anchor thing is you have certain values. You have certain values around how you want to build a company. And those values translate into culture. Those values translate into who are the first few people you work with, because your first few team members and co-founders, it's like a marriage. You need to have some common. Now, you don't need replicas of yourself. You don't need people who think exactly like you. But there are some values that bind you together. Examples: open communication, or customers first, or we're building it for developers, or some things like that, or we need diversity, or we want to build this in a bootstrapped way versus high momentum, high funded kind of way. So there's certain values you hold true. Or my sister runs an education business, so it's all about improving the outcomes for the children. And that is my non-negotiable when all things considered. When some of these, when Atlassian started, people will be working remotely from where they are was a core part of the value system, and they will take their weekends off, where we will not send emails on the weekend to each other. We want to build a company, imagine, where there should be no weekend emails. It's I won't join Atlassian because I don't know how to operate that way, but they were very clear about that. So the vision and your values are two things which are the least negotiable. Everything else in between is you're building. It's clay. It's dynamic. It's impermanent. Everything's impermanent, but between of all things, these two, the vision and values, you need a strong anchor, the least negotiable, and then you sort of build on top. And in there, there's no linear path to getting to product market fit. It's you want to talk to users. For that, you need to first have a thesis on who the users are. Once you talk to them, you realize even when they're telling you something, it doesn't mean that they will actually use that. So that takes a while to figure out. So then you just don't talk to them. You have to show them something, and you have to see how they're using it. Watching their behavior is more valuable than talking to them. Or when you're talking to them, how do you listen deeper and listen for the question behind the question or the message behind the message, so that you can solve it? And then once you solve it, will they pay for it? Do they have the ability to pay for it? How much will they pay for it? The amount they're willing to pay, it usually is an independent thing than how much it costs you to build it. So is it viable? That will they pay more than it'll cost you to build it at scale? There are just so many questions which I think they're hard to, you can list them all out, but it's hard to sequentialize or create. Then it becomes it's an art form where you just have to be aware of, you have to solve for all of these things, and there's lesser causality and higher correlations, but ultimately it does feel like, okay, now I've solved something where a bunch of people really want it and are willing to pay for it. And that's product market fit.
Very, very insightful. I really like, actually, although I teach this topic, product market fit, but actually I would say this is the first time I hear you highlight these two non-negotiable pieces, which is so powerful. I think that's very, very important. Thank you.